Welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for choosing us to be part of your day. More information about those sponsors you've heard and all their coupon codes can be found at our parent website, the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener.com, underneath the Season 9 tab at the top of the page, or the Money tab. Holly, let's go to the hotline and bring in our guest for this week.
Lori lives with her husband, Mr. Brown, in the hills of northeast Arkansas. On their YouTube channel, Whippoorwill, Holler, they show their homesteading and sustainable living and how they live off the land as much as possible. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. We're so glad to be here.
Well, we're happy that you've had time to take and not only educate Holly and myself, but all of our listeners. We know you're very busy, and we appreciate the time you're going to offer us.
Oh, we enjoy it.
Well, you say that your homesteading is in your blood. Do you know how many generations back that spanned, or was you the first in that lineage?
You know, I was thinking about that, and I mean, I can go far back as probably maybe the pioneer, but probably farther back than that, because my family originated I'm not originally from Arkansas. I'm from Texas. My roots are in Texas, and my family were dairy farmers and sharecroppers, and most of them did homestead.
Well, and homestead is a modern term. Whenever you were growing up and your family and your generations past, it was just called living is what it was.
Yes, that's just the way it was.
If you needed green beans, you didn't go to the market. You grew them and you canned them, and that's the way it was. If you didn't have green beans, you just had to wait until summer.
That's right. It's called sustainability.
Right.
So you two both love to dance together, and I understand because I love to dance. Is that something you've always enjoyed together? How did that come about?
Well, it's we basically dance in the kitchen. It's we don't really go out in public and dance, but we just have a little fun on YouTube. But yes, we do enjoy it.
We just dance in the kitchen.
You speak of YouTube. You've got quite a substantial following over on that YouTube platform. What was your motivations to start your YouTube channel? And was there visions of, hey, one day we're going to hit this number and that's our goal?
It started, I never even knew what YouTube even was, probably up to about, now this is the truth, about 8 years ago, I didn't even know anything about YouTube. My son is a tech guy, and he would tell me, Mom, I seen this on YouTube and this and that. And so I kind of dove into it and started watching other homestead channels. And I met a lady through a channel, which I don't know if I can mention her channel or not.
Go ahead.
And can I?
Yeah.
Okay. It's Miss Vicky. She's from Vicky's Country Home. They live off-grid in Nevada. And we become very, very good friends. And she kept telling me, Lori, you need to start a YouTube channel. You can teach people a lot, because she knows that this has been my life. And generations before me, this is just all we've ever known. It scared me. I done it. No, I had no idea that I would get this kind of following. But I can tell you that this my YouTube community, they are some of the nicest, most beautiful people you ever meet.
Well, absolutely. Well, you two are genuine. You're not faking anything. You are who you are, and that's what people gravitate toward, that authentic personality, and not, if we want to see fake people, we can turn on the TV anytime we want.
Yeah, we don't have the TV on much anymore.
So when people come onto your YouTube channel, what can they expect? I know we keep talking about the homesteading, but what can they expect when they come to your YouTube channel? And if you want to say the name of it again, that'd be good too.
Well, when they come to our channel, it's just, number one, it's about our faith. Our faith in the Lord. But number two, it's just to help. We have 70-year-old, 80-year-old, and 90-year-old people that have subscribed to our channel, and that even comment and write us letters and notes saying that at their age, they're just now learning to preserve. And, I find that very interesting. But there's so many people out there that maybe grew up in a city. Maybe they didn't, have to do all the what we call homesteading. It's more to me of being sustainable, because they didn't have big gardens. They didn't can green beans. They didn't do all this. Well, I think people are getting more aware of it now, and they're wanting to learn, no matter what their age is. And it's just really something.
A lot of people are getting back to the health benefit of growing your own food and putting it up and having that health benefit.
Well, and
just
go ahead.
And just it is gardening, it's preserving. It's just a simpler, I guess, what we think is a simpler way of life. It's really a lot of work, but to us, it's a simple way of life.
It's a work that you enjoy doing.
Yes.
And you spoke about 70, 80, 90-year-old people interacting with you.
Yes.
If you can sit around on the couch and go, well, I'm 83 and life's about over, or you can do something about it and enjoy what time you have left and try new things.
Absolutely. That is so correct. And I think when we get to a certain age, we just kind of maybe just give up, but we don't need to. I mean, we just need to keep going and growing our, these vegetables and our own meat and hunting for our own meat. We come from a long line of hunters. We process our own meat, we have local farmers that we can go and get fresh meat from. I mean, it's just a healthier way of living and just watching what we put into our bodies.
So now I'm curious, what are y'all hunting down there? Because here it's whitetail, turkey, ducks, different waterfowl.
Same thing.
Okay.
Yes, same thing.
Do you have any wild hogs or no? Or is that more something?
Any wild
hogs? Wild hogs?
Yes, we have wild hogs, and they're getting thicker and thicker. Matter of fact, I seen just half a mile down the road the other morning, a neighbor's yard, about a 200-pound boar hog, and he's killed probably 20 or so around that area right there. And I do believe I had one come through the corner of my yard here a while back, but they're getting thicker, and they're actually a nuisance because they play havoc with a lot of our native game.
Now, Miss Lori don't hunt. Miss Lori will cook it. I'll clean it up and I'll cook it and I'll process it. Miss Lori don't hunt.
Now, for people who are not aware of the wild hogs down there are just devastating. Is that a year-round nuisance hunt, or are there specific seasons which you can take them out?
Seasons to the hog hunt.
They're actually, the wild hog is actually a year-round season, and there's no limit because they're becoming such a problem.
Are they any good to eat, or are they so gamey that
they're good to eat?
Yes, the younger hogs, and of course you wouldn't want to eat a boar hog, an old hog or not really an old sow, but they do eat a lot of the younger type, the smaller type pigs. Yes.
Well,
Mr. Brown is a big duck hunter.
Okay. And you talk, we go back to the age is just however you want it to be. And there's some people, and you probably know people like this, that just sit around and go, well, life's over. But with your faith in the Lord, it's just exciting. You just don't know whatever's going to happen. You've got your trust, and it's like he's in charge. So let's just do what we're supposed to do and have fun with it.
That's exactly. And that's what our community, our YouTube community, they're still interested in going back and doing the old ways is what we call them.
Sometimes it's the best ways.
Yeah, it's the hard ways, but it's the old ways. And it's so people know if times got to the point, they know they could survive.
Right.
Because it was always about survival.
What are some of your favorite home remedies that you have that's been in your family for years? It's just go-tos.
Hacks, probably would be more, as far as homesteading hacks, would probably be canning, fermenting, dehydrating, making your own compost, processing your own meat. homemade vinegars. We grow our own herbs and teas like mints and stuff like lemon balm. We make our own tea. Rainwater catchment. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's so many hacks that you can do to make, your life more sustainable and easier. I make my own homemade cleaners, like homemade laundry detergent and disinfectant cleaners that I use my own herbs, which have compounds to disinfect and stuff like that.
Now,
so
you bring up vinegar.
Seed savings. Yes. Vinegar is a very good cleaner. It's not a disinfectant, but it's a good cleaner.
How for people who don't know, how does one make vinegar?
How does one make vinegar?
Yes.
A very simple way. If you want to make apple cider vinegar, just use the peelings off of your apples and put them in like a quart jar if you're just wanting to start out small. Fill that quart jar up with your apple peelings and maybe even the apple core. Of course, eat the apple. Don't put the meat part of the apple in there. Fill it with filtered water and just put you a loose top on it and set it up in your pantry in a dark corner somewhere where it's cool and dry. And within anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks, of course, I check mine probably every week. For mold, you want to make sure there's no mold in it or anything like that. And if it's at the right temperature and not getting too hot and everything's just right, within 6 weeks, you'll have apple cider vinegar. And I know people get kind of worried about that stuff, but I mean, fermenting's been around since the beginning. I mean, that was the only way they had to preserve in the beginning, was fermenting everything.
Right. So
fermentation's been around for a long time.
Yes.
You just have to be careful with it.
Yeah, you have to be careful. I agree. I've done my fair share of fermenting, and it's the oldest way of how people preserve foods, aside from like salt preserving.
Yes, yeah. yes.
So you make a fermented salsa, and a lot of people are intimidated by that. But can you tell us more about the process and how long does it take from when you cut up, the salsa ingredients and put them in the jar to when it's complete? Right.
The homemade salsa is some of the best. Mr. Brown will tell you it's some of the best he's ever ate. And it's really easy. You just make sure that you follow the recipe correctly and make sure you put enough salt in it. Your fermentation won't be no more than 3 days. You don't want to go any further than that. You just want to make sure that it's in a cool, dark, place, and that all your vegetables are under the brine. Nothing's on top. You have to weight it down. After 3 days, you'll see a little bubble around the edge. When you smell it, it should smell kind of sweet but vinegary, if that's a word. I don't know if that's a word. But if you see any kind of mold or if it smells like a yeasty smell, like sour, you better throw it away and start over. I mean, I have done my share of throwing stuff away and having to start over.
It's just a way of process because the temperature and the humidity, things don't always work the way you want it to.
No, you have that on your YouTube
after
channel.
3 days, after 3 days, I move it to the refrigerator if I know it's good.
Awesome. I'm going to try it. I haven't tried I've fermented last time. I haven't done fermented salsa yet. So I'm going to try it because
it's so good. It is so, and plus it's got all the probiotics in it for your belly. So
yeah, definitely. Well, we really appreciate having you on the show. Can you tell us again the name of your YouTube channel and how people can find out more about you?
We are Whippoorwill Holler, and we are not on any other social media except YouTube. So just type in the search bar, Whippoorwill, which is a long word, Whippoorwill Holler. Whippoorwill is the bird. Do y'all know about the bird, the whippoorwill bird?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
That's what we're named after because you can hear them really pretty down through the holler here. And Danny come up with that name. Okay. But it's Whippoorwill Holler. And just look for it on the search bar and it'll go straight to our main page on YouTube.
Well, Miss Lori, Mr. Browns, thank you so much for the knowledge and the time you've offered, not only Holly and myself, but all of our listeners. We appreciate it very much.
Well, we just love being with y'all, and y'all call us back anytime.
Absolutely.